And the overwhelming feedback from our team, and these are people who really didn't play EverQuest, they're like, my God, Pat, that was horrible. I ran out of quests like right away. And we're like, wait a second, you expect to just have quests just keep going? And they're like, yeah.
Okay, next segment is how WoW changed video games.
So I think it's fair to say that before WoW, MMO leveling, like in EverQuest, consisted of, maybe that's simplifying it a bit, but standing in one spot and killing monsters for hours. You helped develop with WoW, I would say, a revolutionary idea of quest-driven leveling, where there's a story-driven, quest-driven guide through the world, and it so happens that as part of doing that, you're also leveling the character. So the leveling is both fun and is the engine that drives the story that then also immerses you into the world and then pulls you in more and more and more and more. So take me through this process of developing that idea of quest-driven design.
Sure. Yeah, there were actually a lot of people involved in it, and they all kind of contributed in their own unique ways. Alan Adham was the lead designer on WoW when we first sort of decided we were going to have a quest-based game. We used to joke that like EverQuest barely had any quests in it.
Yeah.
It did have quests. They weren't really in front of the player in an obvious way. You kind of had to seek them out on a website. And Alan knew that he wanted quests to be a big part of World of Warcraft. And so he hired me. That was my entry-level position at Blizzard. And on the same day, he hired a guy named Pat Nagel, which was hilarious to me because Pat was he had this funny title of HR and facilities at Blizzard because it was such a small company. So like if you sent an application in, Pat would deal with the application, or if the toilet overflowed, Pat would have to deal with it. And
okay.
So the whole time I was applying at Blizzard, I was going through Pat, and then I'm
okay, it's not Pagel. They used his name. I was like, that's the fisherman dude. I was like, so they changed the P in the end. I was like, why is that so darn familiar? You know, the Hearthstone card and the fisherman dude in WoW. All right.
My first day, they put Pat and I in an office together, and he's like, yeah, they hired me also as the quest designer. And so Pat, and he was the most wonderful guy. We had so much fun. So Pat and I kind of designed the quest system. It was Alan's idea to have it in the first place. And then there was that great designer I mentioned, Eric Dodds, who helped a lot with the interface of it all. And the idea was, at first, we actually, on a whiteboard in Alan's office, we estimated how many quests we thought EverQuest had to date. And EverQuest had, I think 4 or 3 expansions at that point in time. And we're like, wow, we have to make all of these quests like EverQuest has. It's going to be a lot of quests. And it's kind of up to me and Pat to do it all.
Oh my gosh.
And we believed all we had to do was match that EverQuest number. And Pat and I started working on like the design of the system and how it would interact. And Eric Dodds was really involved in how the interface.
Just to educate myself one day, and I've already said this before, but maybe sometime this year when I have time and there's not like so much new WoW content, I kind of want to play some of these like old school, like, is there EverQuest servers you can log into? I don't know if that's a dumb question, or a private server. I kind of want to just like, I've never played. I would kind of like to just run around, even if it's just for a few hours or like a day or two, just kind of like to understand. EverQuest is still up, cool. Is it through a private server? Project 1999. Is that a private server essentially? It would be kind of cool just to educate myself on these things. Like it would be kind of sick.
Like how you were going to interact with the NPCs and all of that. And we split up the world into like 2 zones. He was going to take Elwyn Forest, which was the starting area for the humans, and I was going to take Westfall, which was the sophomore zone after Elwyn for the humans. Pat and I.
I'm already like, guys, call me call me crazy. I'm already craving to play classic WoW again. It's only been 2 months, really, if that. I'm already craving. Like, even when I just saw that picture of Westfall, I'm like, I want to go through Westfall and do some dead mines. Like, oh my gosh, I'm already, it's like already there, man. I can't wait. I can't wait for like Classic Plus, but I'll probably end up playing Classic before Classic Plus, but still.
Would meet with Chris Metzen, and those were the funnest meetings ever because Chris just has stories in his head and visions. Chris is like artist, storyteller, world builder extraordinaire. And he sort of described what he wanted going on in those zones. You know, you want the gameplay to follow the flow of what was going on with the stories of those areas. So we finished Elwyn and Westfall, and we did like a team play test. And our assumption was, because the way EverQuest worked, players just wanted to level up. It was a level-based game. You go out, you kill a creature, you get experience points, you level up a little bit. And so the way people played EverQuest is they'd find these areas where there were lots of creatures, and you'd usually find the best experience efficiency cycle you could find. So like fast respawn, kind of easy things to kill. And that's how you would progress through EverQuest. And I remember Alan kind of telling us like, hey, the quests, when Pat and Jeff write quests,
gamers have always been seeking efficiency. Like we always talk about like 2026 gaming culture where people game the fun out of the game for themselves by like leveling too fast. The big difference is nowadays we're so darn connected because of the internet and globalization. We have like YouTube, we have Twitch, right? It's like people are so connected that it's like, what, like if there's a best spot to level, everyone's gonna be there. If there's like a way to level 6% quicker, everyone's gonna know about it by tomorrow. The difference back then is like you were kind of in the dark, which was kind of cool. Obviously, the internet still existed, but not at large, not at scale. It's not like there would be a YouTube video explaining exactly what to do the next day and everyone would watch it and know about it. Either way, you would read like the instruction manuals, and like they probably, like, you know, if there was something like that, maybe it would be somewhere deep in a forum post, but not everyone would see it. And even if you did, maybe it was just a load of crap, like you didn't know. Like that's the big difference, right? Yeah, you had Thoughtbot, but like it was different. Like it wasn't scaled yet. Like some of the Thoughtbot quests are like kind of empty, and you just read the comments, and like some people are arguing about something else, and it's like just very different.
Aim us to where the creatures are. You'll do a quest, and then you'll spend a few hours killing creatures in that area afterwards. And that's how he imagined it would work. So we kind of set up the world that way. You know, Pat probably did a dozen, maybe 20 quests in Elwyn. I do a dozen, 20 quests in Westfall, and we do this team play test. And we had a bunch of people on the team who never played MMOs, like guys with shooter background, you know, StarCraft fans, etc. And they play World of Warcraft. I think we played for like an hour or two, and we only did Elwyn Forest. And the overwhelming feedback from our team, and these are people who really didn't play EverQuest, they're like, my God, Pat, that was horrible. I ran out of quests like right away. And we're like, wait a second, you expect to just have quests just keep going? And they're like, yeah, we expect to have quests just keep going the whole way. And we kind of had an oh shit moment right after that Elwyn Forest playtest where we realized like we had vastly underestimated the number of quests we were going to need. And we developed this philosophy that's kind of a shared.
What's funny about this is Ashes of Creation, the playtest we did on Steam before it went under, was just like this. So you made a character in Ashes. If you guys played it, you know what I'm talking about. And you would follow the quests. And it worked for a while. You'd follow the quests. And then when you got to like level 5 or 6, or I can't remember exactly what it was, the quests just kind of stop. And I was like, what do I do now? And people were like, oh, just go out in the world and kill mobs. And I was like, okay. So I did. And then it just felt like really weird. And then I leveled up another few times. And then I was like, well, what do I do now? And people like, you just keep killing mobs till you're level 25. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to grind the same mob till I'm 20. No, I'm just, that's silly. So like, WoW really did change the game in that way, right? Like, yeah. Like I kind of want some type of story and some type of quest zones pushing me to the next area. If you have to grind for a bit, fine. But then like we should be kind of tied back in, you know? That's how most MMOs were, though. Yeah, I found it funny that Ashes in 2026 or 2025 was at the end of last year when I played, kind of tried to bring that back, or maybe it was not on purpose. Maybe there was no one working on the quests. Anyway, it didn't seem to fly, at least for me. I was like, I don't want to just grind the same mob till I'm level 25. No, thank you.
Philosophy across Blizzard games in general at this point. I've heard it outside of Blizzard, other people in the industry, which is you design it along the path of least resistance. So basically what that means, like in EverQuest, the path of least resistance, if you wanted your character to hit max level, is to find the easiest creatures and kill them over and over again in place.
That's what gamers do. Yeah.
Which to some people think is very boring. To me, I would do that for 8 hours because I think that's fun. But we decided in World of Warcraft, we said, why don't we make the path of least resistance? So in this case, the way to get the best experience, the fastest, not to be killing creatures in one place, but will overload the experience into the quests themselves. And then that will move you through the world, which will get you to see everything. It will enable us to tell these awesome storylines. It sort of did a lot for the game. And I think it was like a fundamental change in the genre. Like if you look at the things that EverQuest was very popular and very successful, and it was hitting like hundreds of thousands of players. And WoW blew the doors open and was tens of millions of players. And I think the fundamental difference there was that WoW allowed you to play as a single player. And what makes an MMO, massively multiplayer online game, massive is having the other people there. Mm-hmm. And they're so important, or else the world feels kind of wrong and dead. But the concept that we have to force you to interact with them to do anything is very off-putting to a lot of people. And the fact that people could come into WoW and just kind of the game design way of describing it as directed gameplay. Mm-hmm. And some games have extremely tight directed gameplay. Like, for example, if you were to play a single player game like Last of Us, you know, you'll have those moments where they'll be like, you'll come up to a log and press triangle to duck, or else, or whatever the duck button is, left stick to duck to go under. And that's like the ultimate in directed gameplay. Like they're telling you exactly what to do. On the other end of the spectrum is a game like Minecraft, like vanilla Minecraft, where you'll find it's very divisive amongst gamers who love Minecraft or hate it. The ones who hate it are like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, you drop me in this world, I'm supposed to dig.
So he's just explaining like sandbox versus non-sandbox, right? Like directed gameplay. This is brilliant. This is why I fell in love with WoW. I was the gamer. And man, this is going to piss some people off, but I tried to play like the Halo campaign and the Call of Duty campaign. And like, I'm sure the campaigns were great and I know people love them, but I was the gamer when I was like 12 or 10 or however old I was. And I was like, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to follow NPCs through a game. That's not fun. I want to log in and go where I want to go. And that's what made me fall in love with RuneScape. And I played for a year or two and I was like, this is awesome. I can log in and do anything I want to do. I can chat, I can not chat, I can make gold, I could do a quest, I could kill, what did I kill? Cows and sell the cowhide for weeks. I could do whatever I want. It was beautiful. It's brilliant. And then WoW did this even better. And it was like, yes, that's what made me fall in love with WoW after RuneScape. It's like I could log in and do anything I want to do. It's so cool. But what he said a second ago was also brilliant, is that even though WoW is an MMO, you can play it as a single player game. That's what was so good about hardcore. That's what is so good about hardcore, is that you're essentially playing a single player game, but other people are around you. And it's populated, and sometimes you can work together, but like most of the time you're doing your own single player thing, but there's other people in the same vicinity, so it feels alive. And that's just so good, right? You're not forced to do anything. Oh man, it's something that makes classic WoW so darn special, I think. Or I mean, even retail still kind of has this. Retail though, and I like retail. I'm playing right now and I'm excited for it, but retail is definitely more, and I think retail players will agree with this, is more of a queue simulator, lobby simulator, M+ simulator, raid simulator than an active, alive, like live breathing world where you're like running into other players and feeling that, at least not in the same way it was classically. So I look at retail like a little different, right? And I still like it, but I don't know. I kind of got on a tangent there, but that single player experience of going through the world, you could be kind of alone, but there's other people still populating it. I'm like, yes, exactly right.
And that's the type of player that needs directed gameplay or they're going to cycle out. Not all players need it. And what WoW did, that it doesn't seem like an innovation. It doesn't seem like revolutionary, but it sort of created this directed gameplay that felt optional, but really wasn't.
I mean, I think it's absolutely revolutionary. It basically changed gaming. It changed the way we see games. And it was so successful in part because it became a mechanism by which you could spend hundreds of hours, thousands of hours in the game. I mean, it's kind of obviously, it's one of those, all these great ideas are always like this, right? In retrospect.
I wonder whose gameplay this is. Bitter Steel, his threat meter, hiding the griffins, quest dialogue here.
Like, well,
obviously,
who this is. If you make the Path of Least Resistance quest-driven gameplay, then it's going to be the reason that most people play. But it is true that I'm with you on, I both like the quests and cow level.
Yeah.
I guess you have to design for everybody. That's the tricky thing. Like, how do you fine tune this? If you think of it as a loop of like accept quest, kill 10 rats, turn in quest, ding, level up, that loop. Like, how do you fine tune that so it's maximum fun or fun for the maximum number of people? How difficult is that?
It's extremely difficult, and not everybody's good at doing that. We all, to some degree, lack the self-awareness of how we tick. So we're all different types of gamers, but if you ask me to describe the type of gamer I am, I might actually be giving more of a picture of the type of gamer I wish I was, or the type of gamer I want you to think I am versus the type of gamer I actually am.
Mm-hmm.
By playing lots of games, you cannot be an exceptional game designer without playing the shit out of as much as you can and understanding it on a deep level. And the weirdest part about it is you're not just looking for the greatest hits. You learn just as much from a shitty game that you do from an amazing game. And also, like, a lousy game can have a great system that was tuned wrong or lacked the correct interface, or they didn't put the right visceral polish on it. There's an executional aspect to all of it. When I'm playing, I'm not only like thinking about what makes this fun, I'm thinking about what makes this not fun, but I'm also watching everyone around me. My wife plays games, my kids play games, and understanding like, well, what do they do and how are they different to me? Why are they finding enjoyment in this? Why are they not? What's frustrating? What did they miss?
and being raw honest with exactly what you're saying. I mean, I if I were to analyze the kind of gamer I am, why do I enjoy cow level, and above that, why do I enjoy loot? Why is loot so fun?
Loot is fun. Loot is very fun.
What is it about opening a chest and getting a bunch of stuff? I mean, that might be like at the core of what I enjoy about gaming. That and walking around a beautiful world with nice music.
As a game designer, I'm at best a quack psychologist. You know, we can motivate you to do some weird things. The two driving motivators are extrinsic and intrinsic. And all of us at different times in our lives, in our gaming careers, whatever, we can shift from being intrinsically motivated to being extrinsically motivated. Obviously, loot is a big extrinsic motivation, but even saying that is too simplistic. Like, for example, on the loot boxes of Overwatch, there is a masterfully designed system that was designed by a game designer, not by a business person or whatever, like not a commercial person. But beyond that, we also had a really good team who said the visceral opening of the box, the sound it makes, the graphics, like the way things spill out and animate.
Yeah, that's so true. I was doing this morning a play test of Fire Mage, Frost Mage, and Arcane Mage, kind of comparing the three in AoE and single target. And we were comparing the damage numbers and how the spec played and felt. But I always find myself really enjoying Arcane. And what I was telling you guys is like, I swear it's not even the damage, because I was doing less damage as Arcane on single target and like similar on AoE. But Arcane just feels good. And I was like, what is it? And I think it's the sound of this Arcane spells and the visuals of the Arcane spells. It just feels like I'm pumping. I think I've actually talked to someone about this before, maybe at Blizzard at some point in the past, but a lot of mages in PvE gravitate towards Arcane and like resist trying to play Frost for some reason in PvE, like against bosses. And I think there might be something to that. Like, it's just dopamine, right? Even if it's like worse, it's like, oh, but this spec has so much dopamine. Feels amazing to play.
All of that is as satisfying as well. And you're trying to, like, there's the lizard brain part of it, of like, how does it, like, I see chest, I know it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel good. And then there's the spreadsheety part of it, of what does it have? Is it an upgrade? And I think great game designers know how to tap into both of those things, you know, tap into the intrinsic and extrinsic. There's like when I was studying writing, you would study the elements of fiction, and you know, these are just like basic things like plot and character development and setting and theme and whatever. And there's no like textbook that exists for game design, at least none that has been introduced to me yet. But I think about like elements of fun. What are the things that create fun for players? And they're not the same. Like it really, every human being is different. Like progression is fun. Sense of progression, that I'm putting an investment into this game, and then the game is recognizing my investment. That things like leveling, things like the amount of gold you have, those are all
This is one of the reasons I got so addicted to WoW, is because I felt like my time wasn't wasted, right? I'm playing a game, but I'm building some type of prog on my character. An achievement, gold, level, gear, items, something. My time wasn't wasted. And that WoW wasn't going anywhere. It's not like 6 months later, the servers are going down and it's gone, you know? And obviously people have different like feelings about this. Like you can play a game just for the fun in itself, and then you stop playing and like, that's fine. But like something about that like character progression that just stuck. And that's why I'm so excited for Classic Plus. And that's why I'm like kind of sad about something like a seasonal realm, like a SOD or something that just, you know, it's fun. I loved SOD, but now it's gone. And it's like, man, my character and all the memories, like, it's just kind of sitting there. It would be nice to have this forever kind of surfer that continues to progress. And then I felt that way about retail for a long time, but the way I look at retail now is definitely more of like a seasonal kind of experience as well, or at least that kind of feels like it's that way in a sense. Like the big patches and expansions are always really fun, but besides that, I'm not like super tied into like, oh, this is my, but I think in Classic Plus I would be, maybe, I don't know. I felt that way about SOD actually for a long time. I had my like SOD main and then it is seasonal, so hopefully we can bring that back.
Investment based, there's mastery, there's just pure raw skill. Creativity is one, and hand in hand with creativity is customization, and some of those can be aesthetic, like look at my customized character and I have the black curly hair and I put an earring in my character and I'm customizing in that way. The other is customizing my build. I'm going to come up with the Whirlwind Barbarian and I'm the first to do it. These are all elements of fun that designers can tap into and in fact are frequently tapping into, but they're never defined anywhere. And I find that players drift. Like, I'm the type of player who's not really loot motivated. I'm more motivated by seeing.
Yeah, Jeff, neither am I. I actually don't care about loot at all. I mean, I'm there in the raids for the fun, man. Like, I am just there. I love it, man. I don't care if any loot drops.
The content the world has to offer. And often that takes me on a detour of being loot motivated, because there might be a dragon or a demon somewhere that I can't beat without this level of armor and sword. So now I'm loot motivated for some period of time to get back to being content motivated. Or if I'm having trouble defeating a boss, I might have to go back and look at the skills and abilities that my character's using, and I have to go into creativity mode. Oh, he has that one AE area of effect, where he puts a curse on me. And, if I had this counter ability to the curse, I could beat the boss to get the loot, to get to the next boss. These are all cycles that are tapping into all those different elements of fun.